Hello, so Sick Nash fan back, and this time we have the poster boy, Rock Howard. Now, Rock is a well-rounded character that basically can do everything. He's a jack of all trades. He has a fireball, he has an air fireball, he has a command grab, he has very good frame data on block. Like, he basically has everything that you would need to win in City of the Wolves. Now, let's get into Rock's normals. So he has a FAR A that's pretty generic, a FAR B which is very good when coupled with his crouching B. That's going to be one of your main B and B's, his crouch B, stand B. So his stand B has a lot of range on it. He has a standing C, which is very good as a counter poke / whip punish because it does step him forward a bit. So it could be used in multiple ways, specifically a very good whip punish, because you see I get the wild punish right there, and I can actually just feint this normal and get a full confirm. And just like that, a very basic confirm off of the whip punish. And like I said, it's really good because it does step him forward a bit. So it's easier to whip punish some limbs with that button. And also same thing with his FAR D. His FAR D has a lot of reach. So you can also get a wild punish on that as a pretty clean whip punish from a distance. And then you can just go straight into a special move. So let's talk about his crouching buttons. His crouching buttons would be his crouching A, like again, a very generic crouching A. His crouching B is very good because of the range on it. Like I said, this is going to be a staple with him and it has a lot of range on it. So his crouching B is one of the better crouching Bs in the game. His crouching C is very important because it's going to be a very important combo route, but it's also very good because it is an anti-air. Anti-air is right above his head and is actually 5 frames, which is very fast. So if somebody tries to jump on you, it literally goes straight up to the sky, and it's a very easy anti-air if you were not looking to uppercut. His sweep isn't the best sweep. It definitely has like 0 range. You're really not going to be using that button, and I know I say that in a lot of my guides, but sweeps just aren't as good in this game compared to KOF. Alright, now let's talk about his close normals. Now, he has a close A that's +1 that is very good because it's very chainable, so you can go into something very swift and get A confirmed because it is plus. He has a close B. Now, his close B is one of his most important close range normals because a close B is +3, and it's generally how you're going to start a lot of your routes when you go into close B crouching C, because that is also 5 frames. Now, his feints are very good. Now, he has multiple feints. Let me explain this really fast. He has multiple feints. He has if you just press the feint button, he will feint his uppercut. If you press down and feint, he will feint his elbow. And if you press forward and feint, he will feint his projectile. So these are very important because they're going to all have different frame data on block. So I will show stand C. Feinting forward gives you +2. Well, let's just press the feint button and see what happens. Now he's -2. All right, let's try the down feint. Now he's -8. So it's very important to do the correct feint. So when you are playing Rock, you are primarily going to be feinting the fireball, which is the forward feint, so you can get those plus frames. On the close C, you will get +2, and on close D, you will also get +2. So as you're seeing, his frame data up close is very good. That is plus. His close B is +3. Feint the fierce +2. Feint the heavy kick +2. So very, very strong frame data up close. And like I said, this is going to be one of your primary combo routes. So let me show you that, how you're going to get the pressure off of that. Your primary heavy button you are going to use is going to be his close stand D, because when you feint that on hit, you are +5 and you can actually link a crouch and C like that. His heavy, which is his C, the only problem with it is +3 on hit, so it will not give you an actual combo confirm. That's the only thing that's pretty bad about it. So it is plus on block, but the on hit scenario isn't that great. So we're gonna stick to close D for this situation. And as you see, Rock's pressure up close is very dangerous and very scary. So we're going to get into his special moves, and I'm going to teach you how to apply those. So first and foremost, we have Rock's Reppuken. That is a classic for Rock. It glides across the ground, goes at a pretty good speed, and will control the pacing of the match. So this is the main way you are going to control the neutral pacing of the match. So if you feel like a lot of ground game is happening, shoot the projectiles, see what they do, and see how your opponent reacts. And this is the A version. It's not as slow as Hotaru, so you're not going to be able to run behind it unless your opponent is backing up or jumping away from you. That is the only way you're going to be able to chase that projectile down. But he also has the C version of the projectile, which is Double Reppuken, which is a very confusing projectile if you do not know how to use it right. Because sometimes I see people just throw it out. And while it is a great projectile because it is fast, however, you're not supposed to just throw this one out. There's a specific way you want to use it. I'm going to show you that way. So when Terry shoots his projectile, let's say you are using your A Reppuken and y'all are matching projectiles and y'all are just playing a solid game of the Fireball War, right? What if I told you Double Reppuken can eliminate that projectile and still get a projectile on the screen so they just don't clash? Watch this. This is actually how you want to use the C version of Reppuken. You want to wait for the projectile to get a little closer to you, match that projectile, and then shoot your own. And that way you can win the Fireball War a little easier because Terry's not going to be able to keep putting out projectiles faster than you can Double Reppuken him. Rock's EX projectile is also good because it does grant you a hard knockdown when it hits. So it's also very good in a Fireball War because once you are matching some projectiles, maybe you want to throw in an EX so you can get that hard knockdown and chase the hard knockdown into some pressure. Alright, so next I want to talk about Rock's counter. Now, not many characters have like counters or parries in this game. So unique to Rock, Rock has a high and mid counter, which is going to be the quarter circle forward B, and quarter circle forward D is a low counter. So if you feel like a low is going to come out, you can do that. So I'm going to show an example of him getting a counter on a short hop jumping C. And as you see, Rock does a crack shoot and gets a knockdown that says punish. Same with the low. Same thing, crack shoot, knockdown, punish if you read the low. Now, a lot of these are going to be hard reads beyond the actual short hop that I reacted to. If you're trying to read a low, it would be better to just block the low or try to just defend because a low counter could be very risky unless it's some low special move that you are countering that you just know is coming out guaranteed, or your opponent has been very autopilot with their pressure and you know the low is coming out guaranteed. He also does have a EX counter, and the EX counter is not a low version, it's a high and mid version, but the thing is you can actually combo off of it. The EX version, you can actually combo off of it, get a full route, and potentially close out a round. Now, a unique tip about this counter, you can actually counter supers with this. So I'm gonna have Terry do his super and hey, watch the results. A lot of people do not know that Rock can actually counter supers, so keep that in mind. Now, back on the topic of fireballs, Rock in this game actually has an air fireball, which is like super good for his toolkit because he can throw off his trajectory, throw a fireball, and it literally can just throw off your whole anti-air game in the first place. Now, he can do this from a short hop, so he can't do projectiles too low because the game design just does not allow like Tiger Need projectiles unless you are using the EX version. But for regular version, you can short hop and do a fireball. So the A version goes a little higher and the C version goes a little lower. So they go at different angles. So depending on how your opponent is moving, you're gonna have to alternate your projectiles. Now, the cool thing about the EX version is the EX version shoots two and they kind of home in on the opponent. Now, a tip with the EX version, if you want to do it at its lowest peak, you can actually just backdash because you are considered airborne, and then you can input the quarter circle back A plus C. And you can actually get it at its lowest. So that's the closest you're going to get to a Tiger Knee Fireball in City of the Wolves. Now, similar to Hotaru, Rock comes with a command grab. So not only is he a striking character, but he is also a strike throw character with a command grab. I will show you a couple of applications that you can command grab after. His stand B, like I said before, is +3, so you can do a stand B into a command grab. Now, just like in my Hotaru video, you have to finish the animation of the button. You cannot cancel it. So do not cancel it because your command grab will whiff right through their body. You want to let the full animation rock of that standing B and then input the command grab. You can also do it off of like a standing A, and all of these buttons, you could do it off of theoretically any button, but you would want to do it off of a plus frame button. That way, if your opponent presses, you have that threat of the counter hit setup or the command grab. If you do the EX version of his command grab, he actually tosses you backwards and you get a full conversion off of it. So it's going to always swap sides, so just keep that in mind. If you want to throw your opponent into the corner, you have that option. So Rock does come with a generic uppercut as well. It is no longer a charge input. He has the A version invul. He has B version that he can break, and it's going to be used in a lot of your combos, so you can break it into a super. And the EX version is good because Rock does have an air special move, which is the fireball, so he can actually do uppercut into fireball. Rock's main B and B special move is going to be the shoulder charge, which is going to be 214A or 214C. Just like I showed before, his crouch B, stand B into a 214A is going to be one of his B and Bs. It's going to be his staple way of keeping you from holding up and keeping you from moving if you are afraid of that command grab. And then the 214C is going to be used off of like heavier buttons. So like, let's say you didn't want to cash any meter, or you're almost burnt out from your rev gauge, you have the option to just do 214C in most situations off of heavy buttons. So the EX version is going to be your combo starter, and it's primarily going to be a combo starter. You can do it on block because, of course, you can change special moves in this game, but you basically want to hit confirm into it, and if you don't, you will want to go into like EX projectile, so you are going to be plus right there. And an example of me not confirming it and just doing it on block, something like this. As you see, I'm -11. However, if I just go into Rabuken EX, I'm going to be plus. Now we are going to talk about Rock's last special move, which will be Rage Run, which has multiple options that I'm going to cover. So his A version is a dive that can cross up. And while it might appear good on the surface, it's actually not that great to just throw out. For one, it will lose to high evade. It will also lose to uppercut. And even though you see that +1, it is actually not +1 if your opponent stand guards it. It will turn into -2, so you will completely lose your turn. So that is more of a knowledge check move. If you see your opponent does not know how to block it, hey, more power to you. But if your opponent does know how to block it and stop it, it's just not going to be that worth it to throw the move out. It's mostly a combo filler with the EX version. So the B version of Rage Run is this dive, which does beat lows and beats throw attempts. Low negative on block, so you will not get punished for throwing it out. And just like the other move, it's not the best to just throw out because, of course, for this one, you can easily just defend it. But to beat a low or to beat a throw, hey, it could be worth it because you actually get a full combo route on counter hit. So now we're going to talk about the B version of Rage Run. Now the B version of Rage Run is a running low sweep, which it does leave your opponent standing if it hits. It does not knock down, but it is -4 on block. So if your opponent does have a 4-frame jab, which some characters do, they will be able to punish you, and the reward on hit is not that rewarding. It's only +2 on hit. So yes, you do get another turn, but the risk of you throwing it out and getting hit by something like jab super is a little much. Now the EX version of the move is actually a lot better because you are able to actually combo off of it. Now, because you can combo off the EX version, it is a lot better because you can throw it in your string. So if you feel like the opponent might try to press or they might try to hold up, you can throw it at the end of your strings and see that it confirmed and get a combo. So he has Rage Run C, which is going to be another diving attack. It does beat lows and throws. It's only -3 on block. So again, it's not the best. You are giving up your turn. It can be just defended. There's a lot of counterplay to it. It can also be dodged. It will be a little harder to dodge because it lives pretty low to the ground, but it can also be dodged. So the thing about this move, again, it's more for combo fillers with the EX, but it does beat lows and throws, and on counter hit it will give you a crouching C confirm. You will more than likely be doing the EX version in combos, but out of A and C, you're basically going to be doing the A version more because the A version does more damage. The C version does slightly less damage, but it's easier, and the A version is a little harder, but does more damage. Then lastly, we have Rage Run D, which is going to be Rock crossing over your body and going for a command grab. It's a very gimmicky move, so I don't suggest relying on it or going for it too often, but it is a move you could throw out every once in a while to see if your opponent knows about it. So the thing about the EX version, you will not be able to get a full combo route out of it because you already used your run. So because you already used your run up, you could just go for a super. Now Rock comes with some pretty solid supers. He's going to have Raging Storm, the classic, which is going to be invul on Wake Up. Both versions are going to be invul on Wake Up. And the good thing about this is it's going to be your primary combo finisher. As you see, that's a lot of damage, and you can just run across the screen and try to get pressure, or you can hold your ground with some Rabukins. And his other super is going to be a rushing elbow strike that is pretty good for a corner carry. It doesn't do as much damage as Raging Storm, as you see, 240 versus 220. So you're going to lose out on a little more damage, but you're going to be a lot closer for Oki instead versus the Raging Storm super. But the cool thing about the D version of the elbow strike is it has invul, and it actually can go through projectiles. So this super will not be able to go through projectiles at a full screen. So when you feel like your opponent is going to throw a projectile, you want to play more mid-range. If you play the mid-range game, you can easily react to the projectile and go for a super. Rock is going to be a well-rounded character with every option in the game that he needs to get the W. He's going to have a command grab, he's going to have a grounded fireball, he's going to have that air fireball, and he's going to have all the pressure in the world to open up his opponent. So if you are looking for a well-rounded character, Rock might be the pick. Hopefully this Rock guide helped all of you players out there. We will be doing the Terry guide next on my channel. Till next time, peeps, peace.